What is going on, you freaking awesome people? Welcome back to Operation Self Reset. My name is Jake Naraki, coming to you live from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, where each and every week we dive into a different topic in the world of personal development to help you become freaking awesome. Sounds ridiculous because it kind of is. But before we get into the show, I want to thank today's sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Green Chef. For $50 off your first box of Green Chef, go to greenchef.us/reset to get $50 off your first box. So thank you to Green Chef for sponsoring today's show. Now, with that being said, as you are listening to this, maybe you're listening to it in the future, or you're listening to it currently. As I record this, it is July 3rd. As the day it should be published will be July 4th. Here in America, the United States of America, we have this great holiday called Independence Day. It's July 4th of every single year. It's an amazing holiday. It is truly probably my favorite. When I was a kid, it was Christmas for obvious reasons, getting gifts and great things like that. But as time has gone on, I really dove into loving, I love 4th of July. There's nothing better than being with family, being up north Wisconsin at our family cottage. My sisters have 3 kids each. I now have 3 children, grandparents and cousins and uncles, and it's just a madhouse of awesomeness. Now, as I record this, I am in front of Glass Coffee House, which is a coffee house in Sturgeon Bay, because they have Wi-Fi. And as I'm recording this, it is 9:45 at night. The day was crazy. The day was hectic. It was a lot of sun, a lot of tubing, a lot of skiing, a lot of swimming. But it's great to be with you right here, right now. The reason why I'm setting this up is because there's something unique that is going on currently around me, and that is fireworks. There's fireworks all over the place as I'm recording the show, and I'm actually sitting in my car, and I have the door open now, and of course, it's completely still. So now they're being firework bashful. So I'm going to close the door because there's like these little gnats that come into the car anytime they see light. It's horrible. Horrible up north. Mosquitoes are just ridiculous. But anyway, I just want to give you a quick synopsis of 4th of July, why it's important, why I think this is such a great holiday, or holiday. I don't know, whatever floats your boat. First is this. The individuals that decided to come over to the United States of America, they were doing it to explore. They realized they really liked it. They realized that they hated all the regulation rules and all that stuff from back home. They came together as a collective group and said, hey, we had our full fair share of government and king ruling. We want to separate ourselves. They joined together. They signed this Declaration of Independence. They all jotted their John Hancock on there, and the history is wrote itself, right? So the thing that I want to make clear here is that for massive change to happen, sometimes, majority of the times, it's not going to be a popular choice. Majority of the times, you're not going to know if it's the right choice for you. When those guys decided to separate from England and to, not let the king rule this new land, this new country, they were putting themselves out there. And you have to imagine, in their shoes, there were some guys that were for it. There were some guys that were against it. There were some families that were for it. There were some families that were against it. But regardless, they stood together and said, enough is enough. We're going to make this work. And obviously, great things came out of those individuals deciding in that moment. But as you and I continue through our lives and we are going through different journeys, there is a lot of heartache. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of misery. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of gut turning. There's a lot of hatred and political and popular decisions that are made on a daily basis that we analyze. And when you can reflect and think of these monumental decisions that have been made throughout history, it's pretty impressive. Because if those guys did not get together and sign that declaration and separate themselves, what would have been? What would I be doing here? Or what would England do? Or so on and so forth. And so the thing that I want to bring to the surface here and to kind of float to the top on a spectacular holiday, which it is, I believe truly, is that when you are making a decision, you don't know if it's going to be right. You don't know if it's going to be wrong. But if you know that it's right, by your standards, it's right by the way that you think, by the way you view the world, then it's worthy. It's worthy of the effort, it's worthy of the energy, it's worthy of maybe the sleepless nights for you to explore and to dive into. And there's one quote, or I should say idea, that I want to share, that kind of brings it full circle, hopefully, is from Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is obviously the brilliant man behind Apple and really brought it to the standard, the high standard that it is today. And he says this in one of his seminars or lectures or whatever you want to call it. He said that the people that created the world that we live in today are no smarter than you. The people that created the rules, the regulations, the way things operate, the city streets, the utilities, all that stuff, they're no smarter than you and I. So why not go out in the world and press things and pry things and touch things and see it move and react to see what you can change in the world? And the beginning part for me is kind of the most spectacular, the most aha, and understanding that the people that change the world that we live in today, or the people that made the rules and regulations, they're no smarter than I. And I think when it comes time to understanding where we're at, we don't feel qualified. And usually qualifications start with like the overall confidence of oneself. And that confidence usually comes from your wits or your smarts or the brain power that you have. And if you feel dumb, you're going to not perform. If you feel brilliant and cutting edge and savvy and savage, well, then obviously you're going to have an edge. But I want to let you know that you are smart enough, that you are good enough, that, you know what, you may have ailments or issues and past histories and difficult times and, you know, all things that are holding you back like anchors attached to your boat. I want to let you know, though, that possibly, and chances are true, that there's people that made this life the way it is currently that were in your shoes, that maybe went through the same stuff, that had the same issues, the same ailments. And I think we can all agree, especially in maybe the political space, that there's some silly people that got voted in. And when we look at them, or they mess up, or they have an affair, or they embezzle money, or whatever the case is, we go, well, I could have done that. I mean, geez, I mean, this guy doesn't seem that smart. He doesn't seem with it. Well, the truth is that that is the truth, that they are no smarter than you and I. That a person that has a little more self-confidence can outwit or outsmart a person that is book smart. We understand that, street smarts versus book smart. I don't want to get into that whole debate and debacle, but regardless, you are capable of doing so much more. It's just one of those things. Are you willing to bring it out? So before, I just wanted to say that as kind of like a rah-rah speech, a high five to you, into the potential what can possibly be for you, your life, for your family, and so on. Hey guys, before we get into the main contents of the show, I want to talk about our sponsor for today. Today's show is brought to you by Green Chef. To get $50 off your first order, head on over to greenchef.us/reset to get $50 off. Now you're thinking, what is Green Chef? Green Chef is the first USDA certified organic meal kit delivery service that includes everything you need to cook delicious gourmet meals that you can feel good about. So how does it work? Green Chef sends premium organic ingredients and imaginative new recipes each week. Meal plans include paleo, vegan, vegetarian, keto, gluten-free, omnivore, and carnivore. And Green Chef expert chefs design recipes with gourmet flavors you typically only find in restaurants. And lastly, Green Chef thinks dinner should be planned around your life, not the other way around. Now, for me personally, I was given a Green Chef kit. It was awesome. We had 3 delicious meals that were vegan. Yes, my family and I are going vegan, and they were great. The recipes we're actually going to use again. We're obviously going to have to purchase our own ingredients, but the best part was they provided everything we needed to cook 3 awesome meals, and I would honestly give them a try. I mean, why not? In a world of always trying to think of what else can you cook, this was very easy. I have 3 young boys. Even these meals were delicious for them. They ate them, and it worked out great for our family. So again, if you want to give them a try, all you have to do is go on over to greenchef.us greenchef.us/reset to get yourself $50 off. Once again, head on over to greenchef.us/reset to get $50 off your first box of Green Chef. Thanks again to Green Chef for sponsoring the show. Now, back to our show. Now, the real meat and potatoes of today is nothing crazy. It's a term that you and I have talked about before. It's something you probably read. It's something that is talked about on a regular basis, and that is gratitude. Now, for myself, I'm going to reflect here for a second. I started in this space about 7 years ago, pretty hardcore. 5 years ago, I started the podcast. And so there was about 2 years of buildup. And I understood through my readings and research and stuff like that gratitude at the time was kind of building steam. It was kind of the locomotive, the little engine that could. And over the last 7 years, it has really come to the top of mind when it comes to the way you should have habits and routines and systems and approaches, and even yoga instructors and meditation and journaling, and even in books, they all talk about gratitude. And I want to let you know why I believe it's really important, why it really can impact you, and why you need to incorporate that into your life. Now, this is not going to be a lecture on giving you facts and figures of exactly why. I'm going to share with you my journey of where I was to where I am today. Now, I'll raise my hand and be honest with you. I am not, at times, the most motivational. There are times that I don't have the most confidence. There are times that I have negative thoughts. There are times I'm kind of crabby. There are times I'm irritable. There's times, you know what I mean? I'm human. I'm a human. That's what I'm trying to say. I am human just like you. And when I started to understand that gratitude is a big influential part in the world of getting your mind right, I dove into that pretty hardcore. I did it on a regular basis. I did it twice a day. I loved it. I felt the results of it. I felt overall happy and energetic. I remember calling in-laws and cousins and uncles and being, grateful that they're a part of my life and thanking them for conversations and ideas and things that they have given me throughout my path and my journey. And it was a remarkable experience, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I was like a cheerleader on steroids, but I do have vivid memories of me, only 7 years ago, reaching out to people and thanking them and being very connected. And I enjoy that feeling. And like you and like myself, you kind of break away from habits and routines. You stop doing it. It kind of gets old. It gets redundant. You kind of lose the luster. It kind of doesn't become fun anymore. And you kind of stop doing it, not because it didn't work, but because I decided to sleep in, or I decided to do something else, or whatever, and it faded, right? And so I kind of went down into kind of a clearing of no more gratitude, and I was okay with it because I had big momentum from the gratitude that I did for about a year straight, right? Well, as you know, that residue starts to fade away, and I kind of started to get a little more grumpy again, a little more irritable again, a little less positive, a little less, energetic. And it was a wake-up call to me. My wife kind of shook my system a little bit and said, hey, you're acting really not like yourself. Something's off a little bit. And so I was trying to recalibrate, figure out maybe I needed bigger goals. I needed to figure out my path. I needed to get reconnected, all different types of stuff. And then I stumbled back into gratitude. Now, this part 2 gratitude was more of the science approach. Andriana Huffington wrote a book, and inside of that book, she talked about the power of gratitude. She talked about the power of sleep. She talked about all different types of things, but one of the main facets was gratitude. After that, it kind of blew up into the mainstream of gratitude, and do gratitude in the morning, be grateful for 3 things every single day, be grateful for this and that. And along with that, there was some major neurological research. And some of the research, I'm not going to bore you with facts and figures, but some of them were that they would take blood samples of individuals a week before they started a gratitude regimen. And they measured the stress hormones. They measured different, elements that were inside of the blood. Different neurochemicals that were released. Just kind of checking the balances and stuff like that. After the gentleman or the lady decided to, or I should say, was put into this gratitude study, a few weeks in, their blood was tested again. After having a gratitude journal and writing in that journal every single day, they found out that their stress hormones decreased by X number, that their free radicals of neurological different hormones was decreased. All these things decreased, and so on and so forth. So then they decided, okay, well, what can it do for your cardiovascular? So being in a state of gratitude versus not, obviously your pulse is calmed down. Your heart rate is less. There's less stress on the valves in your heart. Your blood flows a little bit smoother. You don't have any cold spots in your body, as in the blood is able to travel all the way to the tips of your fingers as opposed to just stopping in the middle of your hand. That's why some people get cold feet, cold toes, all different types of weird research. If you're interested, head over to the Google machine, type in gratitude research, and there will be gazillions amounts of documentations. Even since I started to do my own research. So then I was like, okay, well, cool. Then I got to get back into gratitude. So then I dove back in and, I found the same results, a little bit better, a little more clear, all that stuff. And then I faded away. Now, this is round 3 for me. I'm finally got back into it again. And I think that's okay to zig and zag, to have your peaks and your valleys. Because along with personal development, of course, it would be amazing to have a daily routine that would just totally rock the socks off of everything. It would be amazing to have a hardcore type approach to life on a regular basis and just knock goals out of the park. But for me, and maybe for you, it doesn't work like that. And it's not from us sabotaging ourselves, it's just us getting caught up in other things that maybe aren't as important as the things that we should be focusing on, right? So I'm going back into part 3. And part 3 is me starting up at the beginning. When I started my gratitude process, I used a journal called the 5-Minute Journal. The 5-Minute Journal is nothing more than asking you 2 parts of your day. In the morning, and then you reflect on the day at night. And in the morning, it starts with a quote, and then it gives you 3 ideas. It says, what are the 3 things you're grateful for? After that, it says the affirmation statement, kind of like an I am statement. I am smart. I am beautiful. I'm confident. I am full of energy. I'm full of life. I am able to write a book. I am able to cross the Great Barrier Reef, whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, it says 3 amazing things that happened to me. So you get time to reflect. And then there is one question that states something along this lines. What is one thing that I could have done to make today even better? And that's always a tough one or an easy one, because chances are, if you're like me, you mess up a lot. You screw up, you forget things, you drop the ball on certain aspects, and you can improve and become better. So that's a great area to reflect. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go out and buy the 5-Minute Journal. The 5-Minute Journal is about $27, $28, $30 on Amazon or even online, maybe a little cheaper now. I haven't checked the prices lately, but head on over to 5-Minute Journal if you want to check it out. But also, too, all you need is a notebook. Go to Target, Walmart, somewhere, buy it for real cheap, 50 cents, and you're off to the races. And or literally just create a gratitude regimen on Post-it notes on your computer, tablet, smartphone, what have you, and you should be fine there also. So what am I trying to say, and what am I trying to get at here at the end of this conversation? It's this. Start a gratitude process. Start a gratitude routine. I saw the benefits of it when I was on it. I saw the issues that happened to me when I was not on it. I am in my round 3 here. And if you want to join me for round 3, head on over to your bookstore or department store, whatever, get a journal, start writing down things you're grateful for. Now, the challenge here is not to think of things that you're grateful for. The challenge here is actually to make it a habit or a routine and to do it on a regular basis, not just kind of a as I feel approach. If you start to do it on a as I feel approach, you will never get anywhere. If you start to have the if I feel approach come for fitness, obviously we know what happens. We don't go to the gym. And so it's just one of those things that if you want to make a habit or routine, things work in your favor, you have to start a gratitude process. And it starts with doing it today, right here, right now. I want you to think of 3 things that you're grateful for. 3 things that you're grateful for. Go. All right. Hopefully those were truthful. Hopefully they resonated with you, and I hope you participated. Because if you can't even do it to yourself, or say it to yourself in your car or when you're working out or cleaning the house, then are you really going to start a gratitude process? And I'm telling you, you may be thinking, Jake, I got other things to do. I don't have time for gratitude. I don't blah, 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 blah. Look, I would say cut out meditation, cut out reading in the morning, cut out something to give yourself like literally 2 minutes. If you can't even do that, then just continue listening to this podcast. I guess that's all I can do for you. But I really, really want to push you and to have you try, because it will absolutely change. It will change your emotional outlook on life. I'm not going to say it's going to change your life, but it's going to change something within you that's going to make you feel a little more connected. And if you can do that for free on a regular basis, I'd say why not? Give it a shot, right? It's not like a $6 drink at Starbucks that you have to buy. It is legitly 100% free. So I am going to let you guys go. I'm going to enjoy my 4th of July with my family. I'm going to enjoy the 4th of July with friends and everybody that is up here. I appreciate all the individuals around the world that have fought for our country. If you're in other countries, appreciate your men and women that are serving your country to give you the things that serve you best. Because though, again, those are people like you and I that are putting their lives on the line to better ourselves. And lastly, I want to bring it back around to Steve Jobs. The people that created this world are no smarter than you. So it would behoove you to go out there and to try to make it a little bit better in your own special, unique way. So with that being said, I thank you for being a part of Operation Self Reset. I am greatly in gratitude with you guys. And if there's anything that I can do for you, let me know. Send me an email, jake@operationselfreset.com. And until next week, Wednesday, go out there, be freaking awesome. We'll see ya.